If you're a beginner investor and you're looking for the simplest, most reliable way to start investing in the stock market, this video is for you. Today, we're breaking down how anyone can start investing using low-cost, broad market, all-in-one ETFs, and why these products are perfect for beginners because they take all the complexity out of investing. And you don't have to pick winning stocks, chase headlines, or constantly rebalance your portfolio. We're also going to look at a few examples, talk about risk tolerance, and near the end, I'll share the latest breakdown of my own portfolio, currently sitting at close to just shy of the $1.2 million. And yes, it is virtually all-in-one ETFs. One of the biggest mistakes that new investors make is believing that they need to pick the right stocks to succeed. They think they need to find the next Tesla, the next Amazon, Nvidia, or next Shopify, you name it. But the truth is, most retail investors who try to pick stocks actually underperform the market over time. The data is overwhelming. Emotions, overconfidence, and bad timing usually get in the way. That's where all-in-one ETFs come in. These funds give you instant exposure to thousands of companies, automatically rebalance the portfolio for you, keep your fees extremely low, follow long-term diversified strategy, and require zero active management from you. All you do is buy, hold, and keep adding over time. Essentially, this is the set it and forget it approach. Simple, powerful, and effective, especially if you're someone who wants to build wealth without spending hours analyzing stocks. Now, let's talk about a few examples of popular all-in-one ETFs available to Canadian investors. These fall into two main categories. The first category is the ones that give you 100% exposure to stock market, not any exposure to bonds or fixed income or any other asset class like that. These are great for investors with higher risk tolerance or longer term horizons. They invest entirely in equities and no bonds, so that's why they're designed for maximum longer term growth. Some popular options these days are XEQT, of course, the one that I'm personally invested in, which is iShares Core Equity ETF portfolio. We also have others such as VEQT or Vanguard All Equity ETF portfolio, ZEQT offered by BMO, TEQT offered by TD Bank, HEQT, FEQT as well is on that list, a Fidelity All-in-One Equity ETF, though FEQT does have a small portion and allocation to Bitcoin. These funds give you global diversification, low fees, and broad exposure, all in one ticker symbol. Perfect for someone who wants long-term equity growth without picking individual stocks. The second category is the funds that give you some exposure to bonds and fixed income as part of those ETFs. If you want something less aggressive, something that balances growth with some stability, these are all-in-one ETFs that includes bonds or fixed income as part of their allocations. And a popular example is XBAL, iShares Balanced ETF portfolio, which holds 60% stocks and 40% bonds. Of course, there are a variety of other examples out there, including from Vanguard and other providers, and you can definitely check them out. These type of ETFs work well for someone who wants a smoother ride, who gets stressed during downturns, or who is closer to needing the money. Like I mentioned, there are other variations to this too, such as the ones that are a little bit more conservative, some that are a little bit more tilted toward growth, as well as those that are much more focused on income and distributions. A good example of the funds that still provides you exposure to the stock all in one, but also pays a more frequent monthly dividends is ZEQT. It's offered by BMO here in Canada, and does pay roughly 5% annualized yield, but paid over a monthly time period. But how do you know which ETF is right for you? Before choosing an ETF, it is crucial to understand your own risk tolerance. Basically, how much volatility you can handle without panicking. This is where tools like Vanguard Investor Questionnaires come in really handy. In just a few minutes, it takes into account your time horizon, your investing experience, your comfort with market swings, your financial situation, and your long-term goals. Then it gives you an asset allocation recommendation, which is just a fancy way of saying this is how much your portfolio should be in stocks versus bonds. And here's the key. As your life changes, your income, job, goals, you'll want to redo this questionnaire and possibly rebalance your portfolio to match your current reality. Once you know your risk tolerance and choose your all-in-one ETF, the next step is simple. Keep investing consistently. Whether it's $5 a day, $50 per week, $500 per month, whatever that amount, your discipline matters more than the exact dollar amount. This is how wealth is built. Slowly, quietly, and consistently. Over time, small contributions compound into something meaningful. And a good example of that is my own portfolio. As you can see here on screen, portfolio currently sitting at $1.18 million. The last trading day, it was down by about 0.6%, but overall return is up by close to 48% in total. This includes the set up for this portfolio in terms of total amount contributed to this portfolio as well as total current value of the portfolio, including the dividends. If you look at our holdings, as I mentioned, we have 3 holdings. All of them are in a way considered to be an all-in-one. XEQT is the one that I did mention to you, showing to be up by 37.5%. It accounts for 92% of our portfolio size. Next, we have VTI, which is Vanguard Total Stock Market Index Fund ETF. VTI gives you essentially virtually exposure to the entire US stock market. And lastly, we have VT, which is more or less equivalent to XEQT, gives you global diversification, including the stocks in Canada, US, international, developed markets, as well as emerging markets. But VT and VTI are both available in US dollars. And my wife and I are mainly holding them in our RSP accounts. Honestly, if I were to redo this all over again, I would have probably stuck to only one single holdings. But previously, I made this decision of having some exposure to VT and VTI with the goal of trying to minimize any impact of withholding taxes on US dividend receipts. But like I said, simplicity probably would be much more desired. Knowing what I know, I would have probably stuck only with XEQT in my portfolio at least. That said, if I click onto any of these portfolios, and by the way, I'm sharing here the screen from Blossom. It's an app as well as the web portal available for investors to download for free and access it. It's a wonderful community of not only allowing you to easily track your own portfolio and connect your brokerage account to easily see the stock movements and portfolio movements, but also allows you to learn and interact with other like-minded investors from around the world, including Canada, US, and so many other countries. Definitely check it out. If you are not already on Blossom, I do encourage you and I appreciate if you use my referral link that is available in the video description. Like I said, with XEQT, we are currently up 37.5% in terms of price gain, but we've also received dividends over the years. In this case, I've invested in XEQT for about 2 years now. So about 4% of that return also comes from dividend. And if you add that on top, the total return for XEQT is at close to 41% plus. Because we've bought shares of XEQT at much lower prices, you can see our average purchase price is at only $29.09, whereas the last trading price of XEQT was at $39.98. So definitely almost like $10 gain on each share. Our yield on cost as a result of that is much higher at close to 2.6%, even though the yield for XEQT is only at 1.9% at this point in time. Because of the lower prices that we've had over the past 2 years, our yield on cost is much higher. If I go back and quickly show it to you, for the rest of the holdings for VTI, our price gain is at 42%. If I look at the dividends, it's around 2.9%, bringing the total to close to 45%. Our yield on cost for dividends for VTI is at 1.6%. And lastly, shares of VT, as you can see, our price gain is at 43.5%. Dividends are about 5%, and that brings us our total return to close to 49% actually, to be rounding it up, with a yield on cost of close to 3%. In fact, VT is our best performing overall based on total return. Speaking of that, as I mentioned, we do, of course, collect some dividends. In 2025, so far, we've collected close to $17,500 in dividends. And we are expected overall for the year to reach close to $22,000 in dividend income overall received. So that's pretty neat. Like I said, these are some of the features available for Blossom Pro. Definitely check it out if you have not already joined Blossom. As you can see on my channel, I'm fully transparent about my portfolio and the position that I have. This is mainly because I want to show how simplicity can actually still build real wealth. You don't need to complicate things. And I'm hoping that this video provides that inspiration for some of you that maybe just starting to consider investing in the stock market. Before we wrap up, if you found value in this video, consider subscribing. Believe it or not, over 80% of the people who watch my videos still aren't subscribed. Your subscription genuinely helps this channel grow and allows me to keep making simple educational investing content to support your journey. So if you're enjoying these videos, hit that subscribe button. It really does make a huge difference. And while you're here, check out some of my interviews that I've done with folks already at financial independence, retire early stage, or those in the pursuit of that. I think you're going to love those videos. You can check out my investing as well as financial independence factor podcast playlist. Thank you, and I hope to see you all next time.